Here.
Hopper.
Here.
Webb.
Here. I believe we have a quorum. I'd like to make a motion, or does anybody want anything removed from the consent agenda?
Now I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as written.
I'll second it.
We could call for a vote at this time.
Ford.
Yes.
Ramsant.
Yes.
Hopper.
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Okay. Do we have any remarks or inquiries by audience members not pertaining to any items on the agenda? You're required to read questions of people.
Required.
Moving on to the financial report from April, please.
Okay, I'm going to go over that first page from the financial summary for April. The average daily census for April was 10.37. That's up 4 days from March and 1 day from the year-to-date monthly average. Acute payer mix for April was 81% for Medicare and Medicare Managed Care, the prior month being 80%. And this is up from the 2024 monthly average of 77%. Swing bed payer mix for April was 66% for Medicare and 34% for Medicare Managed Care. Operating margin was a loss of $161,000, which is down $112 from March. The year-to-date operating margin is a negative $311,000. Net patient revenue was $1.2 million for the month, which is a decrease of $129,000 from last month and a decrease of $185,000 from the 2024 monthly average. 340B revenue was $15,000 for April. Expenses were $10,000, so $5,000 in profit for 340B. Operating expenses were at $1.39 million for April, which is down $82,000 from the 2024 monthly average and $26,000 from March. Patient days for March were at 311, which is up 100 days from March, which is awesome. Cash receipts for the month were at $1.23 million. This is a decrease of $30,000 from the 2024 monthly average and a decrease of $64,000 from March. Cash disbursements were at $1.06 million. Cash balance at April month end was $682,000, giving us about 14.8 days of cash on hand. For the clinic, the April average visits per day were 11.57, which is amazing. Yeah, it's awesome. Year-to-date revenue for the clinic was $163,000. Operating expenses are $333,000, resulting in a year-to-date net loss of $170,000 for April for the clinic.
What do we count the increase in clinic days?
Just more patients.
More patients.
Literally, that's it.
Yep.
Same providers, we haven't increased anything, just busier. If you see on the clerk clinic report, if you go back to that, she's started putting return people, how many patients are returning. I'll send it to you, because we have a return where it breaks down how many new patients are returning with new, with follow-up appointments, and it's increased quite a bit.
So do we attribute this to just consistency?
Probably just consistency. He's finally been here. We've had a provider there for a year. It'll be a year next month.
It's amazing.
That's the only thing I can account for. No new services at the clinic currently. That's the only thing I can say.
That's great.
It's really
Any other questions or concerns from me?
I'm looking at the Medicare payables.
Yes.
What do you think? Shouldn't we have the fiscal year 24 that receivable? Are they still looking at that?
Yes.
Are you expecting it?
We
in
are.
the
We
next
should.
couple months?
Yes, we should be getting it in July, is what Dennis said today. I think they actually finalized that number. Dennis, do you have that number that we got sent this morning, or was it last week?
We're
or
working on finalizing it right now. It should be, right now, it's over $1 million. And I hate to quote a number, but it's a little bit less than 1.1, but it is over $1 million currently exactly where we stand, and again, we have to file it between now and May 31st, so we are working on finalizing it. As a matter of fact, tomorrow should be final. You know, one of the things I would remind the board to, just so you know, again, we made a smart choice a year ago, back in July, when we paid off that Medicare payable. And that was over 1.6 million. I think we started the year with a payable of about $2 million. So we were able to save all that interest expense and everything else. So it's put us, again, our cohesive AP is a little higher, but it's put us in a really good position for the hospital, not to have incurred all that non-allowable 12.25% Medicare interest. So again, I'm glad we were able to do that. It's a smart decision.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 9, discussion and possible action to approve the movement of the lab from the adjacent building to the hospital existing OR room.
This is back on the agenda from last month. I know y'all voted it down last month. We are still working on several quotes. I don't know if y'all have gotten quotes from anybody lately. Plumbers not coming in. I mean, it's terrible. We've called 4 plumbers from Altus and nobody showed up to come give us a quote on plumbing. Our electrical guy came out Monday. It looks like the breaker that we have that was running the sterilizers is going to work. It's a 100 amp breaker. Currently it's got a 30 amp breaker in that area. So we're going to be able to wire it up, wire to all of the existing OR and all of the refrigerators with no problem with that 100 amp breaker. Plus, we're going to run, he's going to run the data drops for all the networking for all the machines. So again, think this is a good move for the facility, for the lab to get out of that building and back into the hospital. Again, staff safety because they're in the facility at night and not walking back and forth, and just closer vicinity for everybody. So, but remember, it does close your ORs. But again, there's positives and negatives to that. Do I ever see it opening in the next 2 years? No. I
You
don't.
say 2 years or 10 years?
2 years, 3 years. If you go out to 10 years, you'll need a whole new suite. I mean, just because of standards. So, truthfully.
Even most of the providers that used to go to multiple hospitals are not doing that anymore. They're
Correct.
sticking with one.
They're sticking with one hospital. I think their reimbursement has been cut back so much that it's not beneficial for them.
Well, and the smaller facilities that they were going to just can't keep up with the newer technology and things as well.
Yeah.
So,
I'm going to make a motion that we approve item number 9.
I'll second it.
We can call for a vote at this time, please.
Ford,
Yes.
Van Zandt,
Yes.
Hopper,
yes.
Webb.
Yes.
I
mean,
was
it's gonna
nervous
pass.
there.
Well, it's gonna pass for.
Yeah,
was
it
saying
was gonna
it
pass.
mattered.
It was gonna
He
pass.
was the only one, he was the one.
That's
Yeah.
the best time to vote no.
I'm surprised you didn't, just to do that.
Plausible deniability.
Yeah.
They call that.
Yeah.
Again, I do think it's a good move. Truthfully.
Well, I just don't, just from some research I did, I just don't think that we can.
We'd have to rebuild a whole new one anyways if we wanted to go there anyways.
Yeah.
If reimbursement changes that much, maybe it would behoove us to build a new small.
But currently it's
small
not.
hospital.
And with the Medicaid uncertainty right now, with the Medicaid cuts coming with the one big bill, one big beautiful bill is what it's called. Sorry, left out the beautiful word.
Yeah, you left that part out.
Nobody really knows what it's gonna do to us yet, but we'll find out.
So
So,
when Kelly gets us this whole new building that we're going to build at no debt, that's what,
you know, there's grants and things out there. I mean, not that big though. You'd have to take bonds out for that.
exactly.
Mhm.
Moving on to item number 10, discussion and possible action to approve the ACH form between MRMC and Philadelphia Insurance Company.
So this is our Philadelphia policy on the business part of the hospital, the one that we carry, the hospital, not the one the city carries that covers the building. It's just a lot easier to do the ACH form, and y'all have to approve it. We can't do it without board's approval.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve.
I'll second.
We could call for a vote, please, at this time.
Ford,
Yes.
Van Zandt,
Yes.
Hopper,
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to item number 11, discussion and possible action to declare surplus and approve the sale of the Systemex CA600 serial number 14184, manufactured 4/28/2017.
So I was confused on what this is.
This is the coag analyzer that we have that we just replaced with the Hemocron machine that we bought 6 months ago. This machine is end of life. We've tried to even already go out and see if anybody's even interested in purchasing it. Nobody's interested in purchasing. So this is to get it so we can have the city, because it's y'all's piece of equipment. It's the city's piece of equipment. So we got to bring it here to put on the, what is it, the Purple Pages? Is that what it's called? Purple Wave. Purple Wave to sell. So it's just, that's all it is. Just the coag analyzer that we no longer use. We haven't used it in 3 months now.
And it's already been replaced with something.
It's already been replaced with the Hemocron analyzer, yes.
And just, is there any way when we're getting our notes that that information can be put in there? Because I didn't have a clue what
Yeah,
we were.
absolutely. Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was like a mainframe
Yeah,
or
I had no clue.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that.
No.
No worries.
Yeah, I just in the future, like this is
What it
replacing
is.
whatever.
Okay, absolutely, I can do that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a server or a car or.
Well, I definitely do with the car. I make a motion to approve that.
I'll second.
Call for a vote, please.
Ford,
Yes.
Van Nant,
Yes.
Hopper,
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Moving on to item number 11, discussion and possible action to approve the premier letter of participation for Ascension Drive.
So Premier is our GPO. They're already our group purchasing organization that we get all of our supplies through, and they help us with our buying power and buying down money. The Accession Drive is just an added-on aspect to that, to where it's going to bring all of our facilities, even though we're separate, into one, to where we have greater buying power at a cheaper price by using specific vendors that Premier has went out and got better pricing for us. So this is just going to decrease our overhead on supplies. We will have to change over some, like a Medline to a Cardinal piece of equipment. That's it.
Are we bound by those groups? Like if we do this letter of intent, are we bound by those groups? Could we go outside if we find a better deal?
You can't, when you're in the agreement, we'd have to cancel the agreement with a 30-day termination part of it. We do have to purchase right around 80% of our supplies from the vendors they have on here. A lot of the vendors that are on the Accession Drive, we already use. And we have looked at it and talked to them about, like our chemistry analyzer. It's on a reagent rental. We're still going to be fine with that reagent rental. That's one of the things Adrian wanted to make sure of before we brought this to y'all. And there's no fees with this agreement. And there's no penalty. Just they can cancel us if they need to, but according to our GPO, that's not something they're going to do.
So what you're saying is something that you purchased that is not on the list.
We're going
you
to
can
switch.
go ahead and buy.
Yeah, we can. Just 80% of our supplies have to come from the vendors they've had these agreements with. When we looked at the vendor list, we're going to meet that already. They're already all of our main vendors.
And is there, again, transparency?
Yeah.
Is there someone, is a any cohesive?
No, sir.
vendor?
This is just Premier. The vendors are Medline, Cardinal, Bard, BD, which is BD. Again, a lot of the vendors we use that have no affiliation with us. They're just big wholesalers.
What's the benefit?
Better pricing.
So
Decreased
basically,
pricing.
we get the price of a big hospital for several small hospitals.
Correct. Yep. That is correct.
How much are we estimating of savings?
Dennis, did y'all do an analysis on that?
I don't know that one's been done. Adrian, do you know off the top of your head?
I thought Daniel had done something. And all that paperwork that Daniel sent and that she sent with the contracts, I thought there was something in there that he.
Let me see.
But there's nothing within this that is contrary to contracts we already have have
Correct.
with other vendors because we're using
Yes.
whatever contracts we've already developed.
Yes, we've looked at that to make sure that there's no mixing.
Overlap.
Yep, no overlap. Yep.
And it, okay.
It's not going to interfere with our current agreements, correct? Because we only have, with our vendors, we only have one, and that is with Siemens for our reagent rental for our chemistry analyzer currently.
If I remember a couple meetings ago that we approved something with another,
We've approved Tecumseh just to be a part of it, just to have them be able to use them as a vendor.
You might be thinking of Amerisource, their.
AmerisourceBergen and their pharmacy, they're not involved in this. Yeah. They are a part of our GPO, but they're not in this.
I thought it was some equipment that we couldn't necessarily, and I'm trying to remember back, and my apologies.
It's okay.
That it wasn't somebody we were going to regularly use, but in the event that we needed them, that they were followed on it.
So we replaced Custom Medical Solutions with Tecumseh, and we could use either one. If they don't have it, we can use these people. Yep, that's what it is. I didn't see it.
I can tell they did it by item though. Like he went through every single item and showed how much we would need to spend on the contract to stay compliant.
So we have to spend a certain amount to be.
Do, but there's not a penalty, like I said, they just cancel you. If you don't meet the 80%, they give you 30 notice and they
There's not a there's not an amount like you have to spend $200,000 a month. You just have to use 80% of your vendors, 80% of your supplies
on here.
have to 90%. 90% of your supplies have to come from these vendors on this list. And then if you don't meet that, they're going to cancel you. There's no fees tied to it at all. You just don't get that pricing anymore. You'd go back to the pricing we currently have. And they do give us time to rectify if we're not meeting the 90%. Yep. So we can switch to a different syringe or through a different company. So they give us a chance to rectify the situation.
So we just go away tomorrow, like they had to give us the same 30 days.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I think it's something we're going to be able to compete with bigger hospitals. So I'd make that motion.
Second.
Call for a vote. Ford,
Yes.
Van Zant, abstain. Hopper,
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to item number 13, discussion possible action to enter into executive session to review and approve of medical staff and privileges, credentials, and contracts falling to providers pursuant to 25 OS 307B1. I'd like to make a motion that we move into executive session at this time.
I'll second it.
If we can call for a vote at this time. Ford,
Yes.
Van Zant, yes. Hopper,
Yes.
Webb.
Yes. Little steamy that way.
Yeah, we got Michelle in the other office. So who won the pool on how long it was going to take Corey to come out?
I also said, man, they're taking off.
It's a pretty heated discussion. I'd like to make a motion that we come out of executive session at this time, please.
I'll second it.
If we could call for a vote, please. Ford,
Yes.
Van Zant, yes. Hopper,
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Okay. And I'd like to make a motion that we approve the Schedule 1 list of providers for DIA.
Do we have to?
Do we do it as a group?
Contract?
You can do them as a group, yeah.
Okay, I would like to make a motion that we approve the Schedule 1 list, Joshua Smith, MD courtesies, and Dr. Shefatelli's contract division.
I'll second that.
If we could call for a vote at this time. Ford,
Yes.
Van Zant. Yes. Hopper,
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Okay, moving on. Discussion of possible action to enter into executive discussion matters of information would violate confidentiality requirements of the state and federal law pursuant to 25 OK Stat 307B7. Complaints and grievances. I'd like to make a motion that we enter into executive session.
Second.
Call for a vote at this time, please.
Yes.
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 Put your stuff on.
There was no air movement back there.
Corey's gonna time you.
I'd like to make a motion that we come out of executive session.
Second it.
If we can call for a vote at this time.
Yes.
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 Okay, item number 16, no action taken. Okay, moving on, do we have any staff or board remarks or inquiries by governing board members, city manager, city attorney, city employees, or a city council member?
I'm not a city council member, don't look at me like that.
I'm not speaking about you.
Yeah, you're looking at me.
I was looking at our esteemed city council person here.
See stupid written across here?
I did not say that. I said esteemed city council.
I said that.
And our illustrious former mayor.
About anything? Nothing? Can I ask about something that wasn't discussed?
Yep.
Just a brief update on the roof situation with the hail that we got?
It is going to commission meeting, the contract with Coombs Roofing is going to the commission meeting this next week, Tuesday. Yep.
What, did you have any leaks after that storm?
We had a few, nothing real big. We did have some new ones that, leaked a little bit, but,
Hey, at least we didn't have the new roof up.
correct.
Yeah.
That's a
It is
blessing.
very,
Good job. Good job.
I did look into some other things for when our roof is done. As, we all know, our policy went up from 3.9 million to 7.9 million. So the deductible went up from 200,000 to 400,000. Was what our deductible would be. Well, as we all know, our roof's only gonna cost about 640. So we have looked in, and we're gonna look at this when our roof gets replaced to the deductible buy down. One of the things that the public adjuster talked to us about. I've put in a quote for that, received it back to drop us from 5% of that total replacement value to down to 2 is 14,000 a year. For us to drop it back down to 200,000. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
huge.
it's
Yeah.
massive. And I could have went down to 1%, but I stayed at 2. Just
Well,
But I
see what it would be for 1%.
See what it would.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's our only guarantee that we're going to have is really horrible weather.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, wind and hail is about all we get.
So that
If
is.
you're only talking 14,000, I mean, I'd just be curious what the 1%.
I mean, if they want 16 or 18,000, that's a home
Yeah.
run.
Yeah, so I can.
Is that per year? Is that per year?
Per year, yep.
So that's like 20 years,
Yeah.
Yeah.
14,000.
It's
20 years,
well worth it.
1,000.
Oh, but
You're
Hang
still
on.
not, yeah. Well, I'm
Every
saying
3
those
to
like,
5 years.
yeah. So what I'm saying though is that 20 years, it costs you 280,000.
You'll
To
get
say
it before that.
300,000, so it's basically like
It's a no-brainer.
20 years, yeah.
It's a no-brainer, so I'll have them update that for 1%, see where we're at.
I think that's a good idea.
Any other questions? Comments, concerns? Any new business that could not have been foretold?
I'd make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second the motion.
If we could call for a vote. Board?
Yes.
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 Yes. Why are you hesitating, Carson?
Because I seriously think about no, just for fun.
You've done that before.
I have.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you guys for coming.